right, top 5 games of Gen Con
2019.
Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Rod.
And today we're doing our Gen Con recap video where we talk about the top 5 games we actually got to play at Gen Con.
That we found time to play, I guess. So I came down to so much stuff to do there.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. Amazing.
They said there was over like 19,000 events at this thing. There's just 70,000 people, 700 exhibitors or something, 500 exhibitors, something like that. A lot of people are showing off games there.
It's spread out everywhere, so...
So let's give you our top 5 list of games that we got to play that we loved. Some of these were on our preview list and some of them were not. So,
All right,
let's
so
go.
start with number 5?
Number 5, go.
Okay, number 5. Now, on my list, I got a little mix of games, but number 5 is actually one that's been out a while, but I have not found time to play. And that's Seven Wonders Duel.
Seven Wonders Duel.
I have just pretty much avoided the game overall, just 'cause I thought that it was just... I didn't see how they were going to make Seven Wonders into a 2-player game.
Right.
And they did it. It was awesome.
And they did
Enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, cool.
But the funny thing is, I would not have sat down and played it if it just wasn't for my brother, who just was sitting down playing everything. And that got me into it. Loved the game. Fantastic.
Which is cool because in this fast-paced world of board games now, new ones are coming out. It's always the newness, the hotness. And so it's cool that you got to sit down and play it because you probably wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I kind of noticed. There was a lot of there's tons of new games. We know that, just tons of them. But they kept on some of those older games still doing demos for them, so that was nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, my number 5 is the Grim Masquerade. Now, this is by Druid City Games and James Hudson, the Eisner brothers, and this is their take on social deduction. And I've been hearing a lot about this. I saw it demoed a lot, but the artwork on this is phenomenal. It's in that same Grim Forest world, but it's a new take on it. It's a lot of... I wouldn't say dark, but it is darker, but it's not like a scary Grim Forest. But anyways, it's just a darker take on it, and it just looks so cool. And the basic premise of being able to figure out who people are in this game, it's not hinging on that whole how good are you at lying stuff, but it's all in the cards that you take or the cards that you don't take and things like that. So I really like that take on social deduction where it's not just about are you a good liar or not,
Awesome.
And so it was pretty good. That was my number 5.
Okay, so number 4 is Ringmaster. I wrote this all out and everything, but it's Ringmaster something to the big top. Ringmaster, welcome to the big top.
Welcome
there we go.
to the big top.
So it's just a card game, very simple. Takes no time. Takes probably 10 to 15 minutes to play. But it's a nice little game. The artwork is fantastic. The moves that you make with the cards... Somehow they incorporated it well with what actually the card is for the circus.
That's cool.
And it's got that kind of 30s circus theme to it, maybe 20s. And the artwork, like I said, is fantastic. $10.
Woo! Thank you for a $10 game.
Fantastic. Yeah, sorry I didn't say the name of the game correctly. But anyway.
But he loved it.
Loved it.
Okay, my next one is Artemis Project by Grand Gamers Guild. And this is, I actually had this waiting on me when I got back because I backed the deluxe version, which was over the top amazing. Like, they have these coins in the game that are as nice as like a collector's pin. I mean, it's nice metal. Anyways, it's awesome. But the reason I bring it up for anybody that didn't back the game is I got to talk to them at their booth and look at just the retail version, and the retail version alone was incredible. It just looked great. The pieces, if you like wooden bits and all that kind of stuff, it's awesome. This is an incredible dice placement game. So if you like games like Alien Frontiers, then you will love this game because it has a really neat mechanism of not just placing your die, but people can slide their die in front of you. And so if you're too greedy, you might not get what you want. It's just a great game. Artwork, components, quality. So check it out. The Artemis Project.
Awesome. All right. So number 3. It's going to go to... Well, Pathfinder card game, the new one, version 2.
One. Oh, okay.
We actually got to sit down and do our little interview with Linda, who's actually one of the testers and so on. But the game's fantastic. They fixed the issues that were with it before. It plays smoothly. The only thing that I know that they haven't fixed is that they can't fix it. It's still you're still hunting and searching in the deck for the bad guy, which sometimes people have problems with. But all in all, the game is fantastic. Uses their great artwork that they have. Plays smoothly. everyone that we were at the table that we were at was really into it. So that, of course, sometimes can help. But it was a fantastic game. Yeah, it does. But it was fantastic. So the version 2 of the Pathfinder card game, go out there and get it.
Way cool. For me, that's a play it game, because the first one I was kind of okay on it, you know, and I did have some issues with it, but I'm excited to see another version of it, see what they've done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All right, for me, number 3 is Clask 4. So that's what we got right here. This is awesome, right? So Clask is one of our most watched videos. It's kind of crazy, but that one got a ton of videos or views, and it is an awesome game. Just the basic version of Clask. You can actually go to Target right now and pick this up, but this is a new version of that.
It's awesome.
And it's amazing. And it is a 4-player version, so it's more of a family-style game. If you played regular Clask, it can actually get competitive. They even, while we were at Gen Con, I got to go to the World Championship Tour. And so they had a World Championship and got to play, and these guys were phenomenal at it. But this is more of kind of laid-back game. Not laid-back. Clask is not laid-back, but it is more of just a family style where 4 people can play at a time, and you go down and score. And then, anyways, it's a really, really, really neat version of it.
Awesome. Well, I have to admit, it's my number 2.
Number 2.
So, this is a great game.
Yes.
Again, I can't say enough about it. I have not sat down with anyone and played the old version and this version where the person just went, I don't like that game.
That's
they
so
all
true.
have enjoyed it.
Yes.
And it's so much fun. I mean, and anyone, the great thing about it too is that anyone can just kind of jump in there and be competitive.
Yeah.
So it is a blast, but there are some major skills in there. I thoroughly love it. And they also fixed these right here, they told us, they kind of rounded off the edges some, so it rolls around more, a little more action out of them. But it's a great game. I can't tout it enough. Get out there, get out to Target, wherever it's going to be.
Yeah, it'll be
grab
at Target
it, buy
again.
it.
Yeah, and the quality on it. The guy that owns the company that made this is a craftsman, a woodworker, and so everything that they've done, it just is quality throughout.
And that's another thing that you're mentioning. Sometimes it's like, we don't know anybody, but we know this guy, right? And he is just a great person to talk to. And so I just want to say, get out there and get the game. It's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, my number 2 is Unmatched.
Okay.
And so this is a new one by Mondo Games. I forget, there's another publisher that's involved. But anyways, Unmatched is a retheme or a rework. It's a second edition of a game that came out a long, long time ago called Star Wars Duel. And so it had this basic idea in Star Wars where you could fight any 2 characters, but now they've totally revamped it, and it's not about Star Wars anymore, but now it's about any character that you can think of. And so they've got Bigfoot versus Robin Hood. They've got Bruce Lee
versus Medusa.
They've got all these things, and so the idea is that they've tried to balance them all out so you can fight anybody against anybody, but specifically they're giving these little packs, these 2 characters that are matched really well. So Unmatched, I don't know. Anyway, so they fight really good. So Robin Hood has this really ranged attack versus Bigfoot that has to get close to beat you up. It's just a really cool, plays in maybe 20-30 minutes at the most, and it's pretty cool.
So I have to say, that's my number 1 game.
So works out great. I steal all your thunder. I'm so sorry.
No, it's a great game. I mean, I can't emphasize enough. And what they did was they really studied whatever character they were putting into the game. So Robin Hood or Bigfoot or whatever, they really went in there and found those things that are supposedly what they are, and actually used it as a card for that type of attack and that type of thing. For Medusa, the gaze of the eyes is like a major attack. Robin Hood, of course, is off in the distance, shooting his arrows, but it's just got some great stuff that they can do. And they also, like with Robin Hood, he got an extra move at the end, like an extra space or stuff, so he's able to keep his distance. But I really love that how much they went into studying the characters that they're bringing in. This game just yells out expansions, right?
Yeah, and the coolest thing that they had at the booth was a little piece of paper where you could suggest who you wanted,
right?
And so we were coming up with all these cool ideas, of who people we thought would be amazing in the game.
John Wick, that's who I want.
Versus Boba Fett. That was our idea, like John Wick versus Boba.
So I did put that in there. Then I put like John Wick versus the Terminator, and I put John Wick versus the Predator. I want John Wick in there.
But that's such a cool idea. And so this is one of those things where people complain about expansions, and they're keeping this out and they just want more money. Well, this is one I would gladly be like, okay, I got to get that one,
Well, they're affordable. They're not going, that's one of the things I noticed. It wasn't like they're overboard in the price. It's affordable. The miniatures are nice.
Yeah.
The cards are nice. and they're relevant. It's not like you can just take one deck from another deck, because this card deck's completely different than the other ones. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Awesome game.
Okay, my number one from Gen Con that I got to play was my number one anticipated game. And so it totally panned out as exactly what I wanted it to be, and that's Reavers of Midgard. And so now, if you're familiar with Champions, and we talked a whole lot about this before, but the sell on Reavers was that it was a more Euro-style game, which is totally me. I love Champions of Midgard. I liked, and so I was looking forward to this one. And I would say everything about this one nailed it for me. The artwork, the components, everything looks amazing. And the gameplay was right on par with Champions of Midgard to me as far as the complexity. So this is not a heavy, thinky, feudum type style game. It's not that at all. And I don't know if I wanted that in this game. It's just a more medium weight Euro that's just easy to play. It's got this awesome mechanism in it where I say I want to go over here and do this raid. Well, then everybody else gets to follow me and do it after. If they're able to pay for it, they can do it. Or if they're able to do that action. And that follow action keeps everybody in the game the whole time. And so you almost can lose track of whose turn it is because it's almost everybody's turn every time. And so it's, anyways, I was totally exactly what I wanted it to be. JB Howell, he just knocked it out of the park, and he's a name that you're going to hear a lot of because his design was just incredibly solid, and I'm excited about it. So
fantastic. Just those are
it was
10,
great.
Well, they're not 10 games, is there? There's how many games?
8 or something, 7.
Exactly. But 8 great games, man. Mm-hmm. It is fantastic that we got to play, the games that we did get to play, and find that time to do it.
Yeah, and there's tons of other ones. Cartographers was a huge hit with Thunderworks game. I got an early copy of Rurik. This is by Peacekeeper Games. Awesome. I can't wait to show you that one. King Domino Duel.
Yeah, you gotta look for Jaws.
Jaws, yes.
What's
Horrified.
Horrified. gotta get those games played. There's just so many great games out there right now.
Yeah, it's awesome. So anyways, that's our top 5
Top 5, Gen Con 2019. Oh.